Hey, what's up, Minus? A very warm day out today, 70 Fahrenheit, which is pretty good for us in the winter down here in central Texas. But not for long. Very soon we're going to be in the teens, and that's a negative a million, or pretty close, anyways, to us. So we're going to crank up the heat a little bit. We're already used to being hot. But we're gonna make it a little more hot. We're gonna take our hyper efficient tuned rig here and just put that on a normal tune and go up about 3 gigahertz and keep it warm here. So we'll see in a bit. Okay, so this MSI one was the one that was I had done a hyper efficient tune on, which was a lot of fun. It took a long time, but it's neat and you learn a lot while you're doing it that's useful, to push outside of other stuff. You can see those videos in the past on my channel. They'll be advertised as 179, 180, and then I think 182 hash per watt. And you'll find settings in there that will not work for you because every CPU and every board is just a little different. But you can talk through the process slightly. This is kind of where it started. This is actually the same CPU that's in there, but this was when it was on the Aorus board. So these are some of the numbers that I was able to come up with to get over 170 on the Aorus, which is not very difficult. If you're over 150 hash per watt RandomX, you are beating the Bitmain ARM ASIC, I guess you would call it. So kudos to you. And so I thought this was interesting. This is the 7900X on an Asus TUF B650. And so I came back to reference here. So I was curious, just because I'm doing a simple tune, since I want heat, just voltage and frequency on the core. I did go into RAM stuff, which I'll go into a little bit. I think most people will find that irrelevant and boring, so it will be short and near the end. Anywho, at 4K with Expo 1, we did get 14.7 on the 7900X with the Asus Prime, and 7900 non-X on the MSI Pro, 14.7. And was able to pull that down to a similar voltage. I kept the 4K frequency, and oh my goodness. So this was where I did a restart, and otherwise the voltage has been rather stable. Another thing I like to do, so you don't have to get too involved because you may not be on Windows. If you want to check your power delivery, if it's too ramped up, even with low voltage, you can still be cycling like you're in overclocking mode. So a good way to test if you're in that is just to kind of touch your heatsink. A lot of variables there, ambient, your sense of heat perception. But in general, that should be touchable. It shouldn't be unpleasant. It's kind of my experience in that regard. So it almost identical on the 7900X and the 7900 once they're past boost clocks. So or once they're in boost clock. One thing I did want to show, most motherboards will default here, so I am in 1-to-1 mode, which does lock U clock and M clock. So I am not going to be able to push F clock, obviously that high, and since this is 6000 mega transfer RAM, dual data rate RAM DDR, so I was able to keep the F clock at a 2-to-1. With U and M, so most motherboards I understand will default that way, but that's a nice quick check to do there. Alright, well I'm gonna go ahead and fire up the air compressor and help this little card go on a diet, maybe lose an ounce or two, and we'll be back and we'll make some heat because this year's weather is crazy. Okay, so we did make it out to the garage with our Panda here. The Tourings. I do like these models. They're very low watts, and they have a very simple solid block aluminum with a regular, I think that's a 90 mil fan, if I'm not mistaken. And they're very good cards. They're little workhorses. I do have two I bought a while back that I'm going to try and fix. They don't post or anything. They're completely dead, so. Oh my god, it was like a whole cat was in there. Okay, let's try another one. Goodness, that's crazy. Yeah, so these are so bad because they were on the floor. So I think that will probably be our last floor rig. Well, as I say that, the 3060 monster thing is in there on the floor. So, but so fresh and so clean. Okay. Well, let's go. Let's go make some little crypto heaters. Okay, so I'm gonna get this shut off. Before I do, I've ran it for a little while. I know this to be generally stable, so usually I like to do a 3-day stability test, almost a week sometimes, because little anomalies do pop up, little errors. So that is good. I'm going to go ahead and write this to BIOS. I'm very comfortable with it, and so one thing that I like to do, I'm obviously at 4 gigahertz there. 0.83 volts is my setting, but if we come down to the voltage delivery for the CPU, actually see I'm at 816. Let's confirm that with the board itself. And it's showing 820. So I have accidentally clicked that. Oops. And okay, so I'm going to go into BIOS, and all I'm going to do is put in 4 gigahertz or 4000 megahertz and 0.83 volts. And we'll come back and make sure that our voltages are similar. So. Okay, we're all set up. We're all got our clean cat hair free cards installed. And almost got a little 4-peat situation. Save the TI versus Super. But that's pretty neat. I do like little compact rigs like that. So we'll get these set up. We'll make sure that we've got NVIDIA drivers installed. I don't remember if we do or not. I just posted for the first time, so with the GPUs. So we'll get these going. I think we're gonna go ahead and match the rear two, which are on Xano. And then I'm also testing out some staking in their wallet. So I can't say I recommend the project or hold it in high regard, but it is something I'm testing because bear market things. And okay, we'll get it set up and we'll be back in a few. Alright, well it's a few days in and we're fitting to get cold tonight. So I did get a little busy, so there's been some delay, but we're all set up. All of these are running at 4K, give or take 0.83, 0.84 millivolts. Or I guess I put a point in there, I could say volt, but you get the idea. If you were here for perfection, you are in the very wrong place. Good luck to you. But we've got 4K, 4 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz, 4 gigahertz. PBO, because Gigabyte Gaming Wi-Fi, Gigabyte Gaming plus Wi-Fi does not have voltage control because Gigabyte is turned into a scam company that should not be labeled a B650, should be labeled a B620. I was ripped off, and I hope that you don't get ripped off, so I would avoid that. That's not brand wide. Gigabyte Aorus, in my opinion, for the 600 boards is the best one you can buy. One thing that does stand out, has the high bandwidth memory support. It also has the low latency memory support. Remember on the MSI Pro that we have here, and on the Asus Prime, they're both running about 14.7. On the Aorus, I've went ahead and enabled high bandwidth memory option within the BIOS. You'll notice that all three of these have the exact same kit of RAM, 6000 CL30 from T-Create, two 16GB sticks. Although they are single rank, they do mimic dual rank to a plus 90%. You can save some money, and I don't know, it's kind of neat with the anomalous things that kind of take Dogma and throw it in the trash where it should be. But we'll notice here at 4K, this is on the Aorus board, meaning 16.1. The only difference being, quite literally, high bandwidth memory enabled. So, one other thing, I do generally run the Aorus at a very efficient clock, usually around 3.5, 3.4, 3.6. I do really like efficiency in the CPU world. It has proven to be very lucrative, especially with the large dollar amount XMR blocks. So those two things together have been just the bee's knees, as they say. So these two, if you'll remember correctly, both at 4 gigahertz, 14.7. So right there, you got 1.4 kilohash just on one little setting. So I think that I am showing that because I think that some of these things are what makes CPU tuning a little intimidating to people. And I would just encourage you to get an old board, maybe a few from a different manufacturer, and compare them and play around in the BIOS and just change anything. A CMOS reset takes 2 seconds, you know. God damn, I miss you, buddy. Yeah. So these are going well. We've been running for a few days. There we go. So we're dealing with these 4 7900s here. And one other thing, since we're in a rambly home mining mood here, I do like to do this with my CPUs. I get these tags from Amazon. I use them for various things. And I just like to label my CPUs so that I know which ones are what. And I've been doing that for some time. The tags are also handy. I do run Windows. I'm from home all day. I work from home. I live off of mining and do other things from home. So I'm on Windows, and I'll go ahead and tag my HDMI out cards as well. So they're kind of handy for a little bit of everything. Okay, well, I have been a little bit more rambly this segment, but I want to make sure I don't miss anything. I do appreciate everyone that's watching. If you have any questions, by any means, let me know. This is not comment farming, although it would seem that way. I would hope you'd recognize from my channel long enough now, if you've been watching it, that I've said several times, I'll never monetize. You'll never see a sponsor. And what I've seen is YouTube running some ads on my non-monetized videos. That is during the time that YouTube also runs way more ads recently, to the point where I watch YouTube about half as much as I used to. So if you see an ad on this video, please just leave a comment that says, I saw an ad. And if we're getting a bunch of ads on my videos, I'm going to start an intro with a bunch of George Carlin dirty words for every video so that YouTube won't run ads. Maybe that'll save you some time in your day, save you a little stress. So just if you see an ad, let me know. I don't want to do it if for no reason. But. So that is that. We've got our heat here. We did pick up a few 100 watts. So feeling, let's see, 460, 380, so that's 760, that's going to be 840. And, oh, that's nice, that's right at 7 amps. So even better. Easy math, easy math. Woo woo. Yeah, so that'll keep us a little bit warm. This will be the fourth. And so that'll be the fifth? No, fourth. It is the fourth year. Fourth winter with no heat whatsoever. The first year I only had a few cards, so wasn't quite enough to heat the house. Well, here's where it all started. The little, well, it's not little, but the big 980 Ti couldn't warm the house, but that's okay. So we are going to be nice and warm. We're not going to freeze. We have extra hash rate from our memory training on this board, the high bandwidth memory. We are locked in 1-to-1 mode, which will lock U clock and M clock in 1-to-1. Your F clock, generally speaking, is going to want to be in a 2-to, well, I said that earlier too. Well, we're not going to edit, so hopefully you watched to the end, and so you weren't getting bad ratios previously. Anyways, M clock and U clock locked 1-to-1. F clock will be a 2-to-3 ratio, and we're just looking for kind of those sympathetic frequencies, and they do work rather well. So, big fan of the T-Create 6000 CL30. I do not know a better RAM per dollar in quality, longevity, what they can do in mimicking dual rank. So. Yeah, I do highly implore you to look around, try different things, stay away from all of the narratives that you can, because that is what everyone else is doing, and if you are outside of the crowd and you're capable, you won't fail. So, and that's what I want. I want everyone that's a home miner to be a little bit better. So, if you're from the corporate world, go do your corporate stuff and leave us home miners alone. We're kind of tired of you. So, all right, much love. I hope y'all are learning and growing and sharing and just making everything better around you every day. So, much love and all the best to you. #MiningFam.